So, if you're wondering, is it legal to be transgender in communist China today? So that's a great question. I will give you the answer during this video and a little brief overview regarding the LGBTQ laws in mainland China as of April 2023. I want to make this point clear. This is not a political video. It's meant to be educational. I'm just stating facts. These are laws that's being passed down by the Chinese Communist Party. So let's get started. First point I need to make clear, if you're wondering why I'm making this video, so on top of my Chinese background, like I said, I was born and raised in mainland China. I mentioned in my earlier videos, so back when I was 16, I was forced to be circumcised. The procedure couldn't be done in Canada, so my dad actually flew me back to mainland China, and I was forced to have this procedure done when I was 16, so it is the worst nightmare of my life. It still haunts me to the present day. I'll never get over it. There's a permanent scar that remains on the left side of my penis. Yes, that happened. That's where the initial insertion was taking place. My life has never ever been the same since. So, I do know a little bit about the gender conversion procedure. I can't use the other word or phrase I want to use or this video will get banned. So I have to be very careful with my language. And the short answer is yes. You might be surprised. Yes, you can actually choose to become a transgender in China. But, here's but in the capital letters, okay? So, all the laws and policies are accurate as of April 2023. Now, China is a very big country. We have over 1.4 billion people, so this is the national law. So, there could be variations. For example, if you live in Hong Kong, Macau, or special regions such as the Tibet or the Xinjiang Autonomous Region, there could be variations. But in general, for most of China, this is the law, and it is accurate as of 2023. So, it is illegal for minors. Now, in China, usually the age of adulthood, it's same as the West. For the most part, anyways, it's set to be at 18. But for you to medically transition, usually you have to be at least 20 years old. So if you're at the age of 20 or up, yeah, you will still need a consent from family members, from your parents, your guardians, and you will need approval from doctors and psychiatrists to make sure that you're not mentally unstable. You're not insane, you're not bipolar, you're not schizophrenic, you're not suffering from a dissociative identity disorder, etc. So it's extremely hard to get it approved. So after approval, a person can only legally change their sex after SRS, or a sex-affirming surgery, or gender-affirming surgery, whatever you want to call it, which means the full chemical castration, which is the removal of your penis and both testicles, or if it's the other gender, is mastectomy, the surgical removal of both of your breasts. So hormone suppression alone is not enough to apply for sex change. And puberty blockers and gender affirming care for minors is illegal in China. Doing so will result in serious jail time, even possible execution. And in China, trans people are not protected by law at all. They basically have zero rights. So some trans people will face discrimination. In fact, I would say most trans people, such as losing employment or getting expelled from schools. Other things include facing verbal abuse, whether it's online or in person. So, and these people, they have no rights or protection from law enforcement. This is because even after you commit to the full medical transition, that person is still classified under Chinese law as a mentally ill person. So, biological men who transition to become a trans woman cannot be enrolled in female-only schools. These schools are very common in China, where the students are separated by their gender. So I have attended all-boys kindergarten shortly, and now I've also been to boarding schools where there are only boys only on the dormitories. So this is actually still very common, even in 2023 in China. And trans women are not allowed to compete in female-only sports. And this extends to using female locker rooms, female bathrooms, showers, shelters, or are they entitled to any rights that belong to women only. So you have to be a biological woman to be entitled to these rights in China. The topic of LGBTQ is heavily censored in mainland China, so anyone that pushes the transgender agenda in schools or in public life will be cancelled on all social media platforms, such as WeChat. It's the most popular social media app in China. Also Douyin, which is the Chinese TikTok, that's the original TikTok that's used in China, or Weibo, which is the Chinese Twitter. So if you promote any of this agenda, most likely you will be cancelled on all of these platforms, and some cases can lead to arrest and prosecution. Terms like gender-neutral pronouns, non-binary, two-spirited, gender fluid, etc. You know what I'm talking about. So these are not recognized by law, so using them could lead to enrollment in mental asylums and permanent ban on all social media. On top of all of this, adoption or marriage is impossible for anybody that identifies as QS LGBTQI+. So the law has been in place since 1980, has not been changed. This Chinese marriage law, which defines marriage as a union between a biological male and a biological female in China. Once again, this has not been changed since 1980. So anybody that's LGBTQ will not be able to get married in China or adopt any children. Donating blood is also illegal. This topic is complicated. There's a lot more to this. I can go on this all day, but in short summary, it is possible for adults in China to legally transition, but the process is extremely difficult and extremely complicated. Even after transition, you will have virtually zero protection under the law, and you will be forced to accept any form of harassment, intimidation, or discrimination. So usually people who are trans in China, or anybody that's LGBTQ, you have to live a low-key lifestyle. Expressing your trans views will lead to cancellation, that's a guarantee. So what's next from this channel? So next week I'll be heading to Asia for over 3 weeks. My channel will be filled with contents from Taiwan and Thailand. So there's lots to cover. I will film as much as I can. I will be filming every single day for over 3 weeks. Also whatever I can catch at the airport. So I'm very excited for the trip. And also, I'll be graduating next year, so I'm actually planning on moving back to mainland China after my graduation next summer. So I am planning on filming original contents from my hometown in China while I'm back there. So subscribe to this channel if you want to know more about life in the East. And I'm actually very excited. It's been so many years since I have returned, and I want to see how much China has changed. One last note, I am praying that China and Taiwan can find a middle ground for democracy, because no one would benefit from another war. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.